12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the unified heavyweight championship of the world. Televised here in the UK on Sky Sports Box Office, and it'll be broadcast all around the world in over 200 plus countries on DAZN. Sponsored by William Hill, StubHub, Lannistar, AO.com, and JD Sports. This bout is sanctioned under the auspices of the British Boxing Board of Control. The steward in charge is Mr. Charles Giles, and the WBA, the WBO, the IBF, and the WBO. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the moment of truth is almost here, so let's go ahead and let's meet the fighters as we bring them to the stage for the official weigh-in. Introducing up first, the challenger. He stands 6'4.5" tall. His professional record, 28 victories against 1 defeat. He has 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Sofia, Bulgaria, he's the former European, IBF International, and WBA Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Kubrat, the Cobra Pulev.
The seasoned campaigner, Kubrat Pulev, only beaten once in a long career by, at that point, the unified heavyweight champion of the world, long-reigning Vladimir Klitschko. He was down a number of times in that fight, put away eventually in 5, but he was game, he hurt the champion. And look at his stats and his numbers. His punch output hasn't dropped at all in the last 10 years. He hasn't got a huge output, but he is pretty quick and light on his feet. Can be awkward at times, throws a very sharp 1-2. And for 4 or 5 rounds.
239.7 pounds for the challenger, Kubrat, the Cobra Pulev.
Well, it's very noisy here, but I think I heard David Diamante say 239 pounds, which should be even lighter than he came in against Hughie Theory, which is 240.5, a lot lighter than any of his other fights, and that tells you a lot about his preparation.
Yeah, he does look really lean, Chris. I wouldn't be surprised. It was very noisy there, but yeah, he looks in great shape.
And now making his way to the stage, the defending champion. He stands 6'6" tall. In 2012, he captured Olympic gold. And now, as a professional, his record stands at 23 victories, with 21 of those coming by way of knockout. Against only 1 defeat, and that he avenged in the ring. Fighting out of London, England, he is the fighting pride of the United Kingdom. Here is the reigning, defending, unified heavyweight champion of the world, Joshua.
Well, made some real changes physically. In the last 18 months, he went up to 254 pounds against Carlos Takam, around the same against Vladimir Klitschko as well, but he came in for the Ruiz rematch lean, 237 pounds, the lightest since he fought Denis Baktov as a novice pro in his first year in heavyweight boxing. When he come in around that kind of weight, between 237 and 240, you would expect him to. Kubrat Pulev coming in light, so we know for him, speed is going to be crucial. And he certainly will probably feel his best chance in this fight is in the first 4 or 5 rounds, and you would expect at his age that when you start to creep after the midpoint, things could get difficult for him, as it did with Alexander Povetkin. When it's a physique just from the naked eye that is reminiscent of when he first turned professional, Darren.
240.8 pounds for the reigning champion. 240 pounds for Anthony Joshua.
So 2 pounds lighter than he was against Joseph Parker. 5 pounds lighter against Alexander Povetkin, only 3 pounds heavier than he was against Andy Ruiz Jr. in that rematch. But such a big, imposing figure. One of the best physique in heavyweight boxing, maybe since Ken Norton. But now it's getting a little bit spicy. They brought the big boys in for this. James Brown, you can see on the right of the screen, big Neil Harding as well. And now, one of Pulev's team, Serval Pulev, is gone and completely lost the plot here. And our security team are having to work hard. They got the biggest guys in. They knew they'd have to. But it's starting to kick off a little bit and get very spicy here. Pulev's team just to our right, and when you come back, we won't be as well lit as we were because they've knocked one of the lights over for the studio. But AJ looking ferocious, looking fierce. And if this is Pulev's last-ditch attempt to get inside the head of the champion, can he do it, Darren?
Wow, this is fiery. It's going off in the crowd. AJ and Pulev really talking to each other. I wasn't expecting this, Chris. Pulev really means business here. AJ, you don't often see him biting like this, but he's really got the ump here. I think he was trying to calm Pulev down and didn't get the reaction that he wanted, and in return he's got the ump, and some of Pulev's camp were trying to get through the barriers.
And credit has to go to SAUK, our security team here. They've got the biggest guys and the most professional guys around.
12 rounds of boxing for the Unified Heavyweight Championship of the world.
And they've utilised every single member of staff here, and they've done a fantastic job. You won't have seen some of the things that have just gone on in and around our studio. But my goodness, it has got spicy here. It's big Lewis Buller-Watts on the left-hand side of the screen there. Well, it's been such a nice, calm build-up, Darren, but of course, at some point, it was bound to explode. But Kubrat Pulev has been in relaxed form all week. He switched it on in the last 3 or 4 minutes.
We're so intrigued to know what they're talking about. They're punching each other's fists there.
Wow. Wow. Well, I don't know who rearranged our light that was knocked over. Well done and thank you to whoever it was. Because we'd have been half in light, half in darkness. But they're still going. I mean, the camera's on us right now, but there is the shot of Anthony Joshua in the foreground. Kubrat Pulev is still talking. And he's talking with real malice. Pulev is saying it's not time, tomorrow I will show you.
You know I'm right, you know I'm better.